Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Thank you for tuning in. I am Jay.
And I'm Elle.
And welcome to another installment of the JayElle Journey. We are on episode 2.
We made it.
Yeah.
Past the first. Our first hurdle.
How you feel about that?
I'm feeling good.
We're trying to establish some consistency. You know what I'm saying?
Doing good.
Yeah. But before we get started, how you doing?
I'm great.
You feeling okay?
I'm feeling good.
How was your week?
It was quite a week.
It was hectic.
Yeah. Work was crazy. Preparing for this. Yeah. Unknowing of what the topic is until 24 hours because I overthink things. But what else?
Yeah. How did you like our first video that we posted?
I thought the first video was good.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that the content was good. It was funny.
Yeah.
After I looked at it a couple of times. You know, I have my critiques, but, you know, we're going to work on it.
Baby steps.
Baby steps.
We're going to continue to grow this thing. My week was okay. Work was cool. You know, we all trying to make 2020 our best year, even
well, we're in 2022.
What did I say?
2020.
Oh.
The pandemic got him back 2 years.
Right. We are trying to make 2022 the best year ever, especially given all of the BS that's happening in the world, and just trying to remain focused and on task, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, wonderful. Yeah. So if you are new to us, this is, I don't necessarily want to call it a podcast, but I don't know. Call it what you want. Call it what you want. But basically, if you're joining us for the first time, this is a look into our relationship, our journey as being new on this road together. We are in our 7th month of relationship. We've been together 6 months, so we're in our 7th month.
It's still 6 months.
It's still 6 months. But you know, we're in our 7th month, so it's still fairly early.
Okay. Right? Yeah, we're going into our 7th month. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. And so it's still fairly early in our relationship, and we think that a lot of people, especially friends of ours, people of our demographic, Black, over 40, are going through a lot of similar situations. And so we decided to you know, give you guys a look into literally what we're going through basically in the moment. Because we're trying to figure it out just like everybody else is trying to figure out their relationships, right?
Right.
Yeah. You thought it was a good idea to do this too, right? We're like, we don't know where this is going to go.
Some days.
Right. All right. So this week we are going to talk about hindsight, the text from all my church people. The text of today's sermon is hindsight is 2020. Yes, right. And the reason why it's hindsight is 2020 is because being in our 40s, early 40s, let's not.
I know when you say that, I'm looking like, okay, I just got here.
Right. You know, me too, kind of. So really what we mean by hindsight is 2020 is that we have gone through, or we have been through previous relationships before, right?
Yeah.
And now hindsight being 2020, what are you taking from those previous relationships and experiences and bringing or not bringing into this relationship and experience, okay? So today, Elle and I are going to give 3 things, hindsight being 2020, what we're going to do or what we're trying to do differently in this experience than what we have done previously or have seen in other experiences. And we don't know what the other person is going to bring up. So this should be interesting because I have one that's
oh Lord. But ideally we are trying to learn and grow from past experiences, right? We are trying to do the whole idea of Jay and Elle is to do things differently than we've done them before so that we can be more in love, better people as well. So you go first, baby. Okay. I can't wait to hear that.
Yes. So my first one for hindsight is 2020 is communication. All right. Making a valid effort and attempt to have clear communication. Now, me personally, I think that communication is the main pillar in a relationship, because if you can't talk about what the issues are, how do you expect to get past them?
Right.
Okay. So, but communication is not only that, it's me being able to communicate with Elle about how I'm feeling about situations. And also on the flip side, me creating a space in which Elle is comfortable communicating with me about issues that she has or feels. And also basically just keeping it a buck with each other. You know, like 100% transparency and honesty is what I mean by communication. Because if you're really trying to be in this for the long haul, I don't know how you do it without communicating 99.9% of what's going on.
And it's not always easy, right? Like, you also are treading a fine line because you don't want to hurt that person's feelings, right? Or you don't want them to feel a type of way about what you're communicating to them, but you do need to communicate it, right? And that's always a little bit difficult sometimes, especially when you're struggling with something, right? Yeah.
I always say, respectfully and with love, I'm like, this is gonna hurt. What I'm about to tell you is gonna hurt your feelings, but it's with respect and it's with love, because it is something that is important to me, and it may be a gripe against you, or you may have a gripe against me, but the idea is that we are, or we should be in a position where we trust the other person enough to say, hey, I know that whatever they're bringing to me, they're not doing it to be me.
Right.
And they're not doing it to, you know, to poke at me or whatever. They're doing it because they're genuinely concerned. Yeah.
And I think that with respect and love, actually, what you were saying before, creates a space where now my guard is down a little bit, instead of you just coming in and like, yo, you da 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 da. You know what I mean? But when you come at it like that, like, look, we're gonna have a real conversation with respect and love, puts down the walls for me.
Yeah. And I also learned with communication that I'm a talker. I have no problem talking, but sometimes I have to gather myself and my words that I want to say, so that not only the intention is to come with respect and love with having the conversation, but I'm actually doing it, because that could be your intention, but you could still have an attitude and be all sorts of with the other person, and I don't want to do that. I want to fight fair.
So interesting. Mine was also communication, but my communication was actually not talking, which is actually zipping the lip.
Okay.
And listening.
Let's lean into this.
Let's lean into it, because, you know, both of us, we could talk. Between the two of us, I don't know which one of us talks more, but I do talk a lot, and I tend to not listen sometimes. And even though I say I'm listening, you'll be like, you are not listening to me. I literally just said that. But it's because I'm talking and I'm so busy worried about what the next thing I'm going to say, that even when he's talking, I didn't hear it.
Oh, okay.
You see what I'm saying? I'm thinking about the next thing I'm going to say, and I didn't hear it. Like the other day when we were on the couch and you were like, I literally just said that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, I was listening. Well, I guess I wasn't listening. So effective communication isn't just about talking and expressing your feelings. What we've learned is also listening.
That's good. That's good, because
see what I did there?
Yeah, I see what you did there. Because also I could do better at listening too. I think we all could do better at listening. You know, and that's interesting that you put that spin on it. That's good, baby. Okay, I like it. I like it a lot.
She understood the assignment.
Okay, so my second hindsight is 2020 that I'm going to do differently, or trying to do differently in this experience than previous, is vulnerability. That went deep, didn't it? It did. For real. Because here's the thing, y'all. Like, in my opinion, if you can't be vulnerable with anybody else, you should be able to be vulnerable with your partner.
Right.
And I'm talking about the most embarrassing things, whatever is bothering you, like, you know, especially as men and as black men, we're like, we don't want to go deep and we ain't trying to be in our feelings. But I'm just like, you know, I'm dealing with stuff too. You know what I'm saying? And so for me, I am working on being more vulnerable. And we've had some conversations about some stuff. My fellas that I didn't even talk to the homies about. You know what I'm saying? Right. And they and they would be like, nigga, you said that to her? You told that to her? But it was how I'm feeling. But also, she has made it so when I communicate this, it's a safe space. And she doesn't make me feel bad about what it is. So for me, it's being vulnerable, because ultimately there is a level of trust one needs to have. I'm gonna go on a tangent for a second. Okay.
Told you he's a talker.
Yeah, I'm a talker. This just came in my head. So when we started talking, okay, the analogy is to school. You know how when you start a new class, everybody on the first day of class gets an A, has an A in the class, right? So from your perspective, when we started talking, were you, when I say I had an A, were you 100% trustful of me? Or did I have to earn your trust, or was it somewhere in the middle?
I think it was somewhere in the middle. Because again, remember, okay, so back to how we met, you know, I was in New Orleans for 30 days and I really wasn't looking for a relationship. So I was like, you know, we could just hang out for 30 days and whatever. And then, you know, whatever happens, happens. And then I go back home and then I never see you again. It's fine. And he was like, okay. And then I remember the drive on our second date. And he was like, so do you date with intention? And I was like, what? No, I don't, because, you know, I'm in this for 30 days. But
she was trying to use me and abuse me.
Despite all that, I think that I was still in an untrustworthy place with myself and my judgment of people. Not of people, but of men, right, that I date. So like I mentioned before, I just came off of a relationship. So I was still not trusting my own judgment. And I was like, oh, this is happening so fast. Everything is so good. Like, this can't possibly be, right? So when you ask that question, I don't know if I was that trusting. So
I would say,
I thought you were a good person and you seemed legit. But, you know, I was still in a place, and it had nothing to do with you, but more me.
Yeah, I get it. So for me, I gave her an A. I was just like, I'm gonna let her trip her own self up. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you present the person who you want to be and stick to it. You know what I'm saying? And she has. So I gave her, you know, because I'm not a trusting person as it is. You know, I be sizing people up and not really messing with people's energy. But I love.
And I'm the exact opposite. I'm too trustworthy. Like, I go into it like you got it all, and then and this one I was trying to, you know, hold back a little bit, which I don't know how much I held back.
We like reversed our past when dealing with each other. Okay, cool. So what is your second hindsight is 2020?
My second hindsight is 2020 is, it goes a little bit back to communication, but my attitude and how I come off sometimes. I can be the sweetest person most of the time, as you know, 97%. I mean, I don't know what to say. 88.
88.
I'm at least a 90.
That's a B. 88 is a B plus. That's good. That's a 3-point average. No big deal.
Look, and see, I already got an attitude. My whole attitude done changed right here.
See.
88. Okay. So I'm a 90. And so 88, whatever. But just really trying to hone that attitude in, right? Like, you know, we have a lot of things going on in life, right? You know, you have your family tugging at you, you know, they need you, your best friends need you, they have their own marriages and their kids, and you're trying to be there for everybody. And sometimes Jay gets the
make it plain, baby. Let it out. Make it plain, baby.
The brunt of when I'm feeling frustrated in life, right?
Okay.
Work. I'm stressed out at work. You know, I got to get back to LA because I got to be there for the homie's birthday. Mom is like, I miss you. When are you coming back home? My sister is like, hey girl, here's my resume. I know you're in HR. Can you hook that up for me? And
the job.
Like,
and this.
Right.
And me. I get it.
So it's really trying to make sure I think about everyone, but more than everyone, think about myself. Because I think that's when the breakdown comes. When I'm not in a self-care mode and I'm not taking care of myself and I'm taking care of everyone else, I get burnt out. And then because I'm with you the most and I talk to you on the phone the most, well, when we're not together, I talk to you on the phone the most, that's when
I get the brunt of the...
Yeah. I'm sorry, baby.
That's all good. We play as fuck up too. So, but to her point, I'm sure that everybody has experience, or a lot of people have experienced their partner taking stuff out on them that's not their fault.
Right.
You know, and I've done it too. I've probably done it to you. I won't, you know, I'm not, you know, excluded from any of this.
Well, you're not an 88.
I'm not an 88?
No, I would say you're 95.
Oh, thank you, baby.
So bump me up.
You're 94 and a half.
You see how that works?
But it's like, but for real though, it's my 2 cents. I don't think it's fair for you or for anyone to take frustrations out on anybody else if they have nothing to do with said frustration. It's like going out to a restaurant and your waiter is mad at you or being mean to you, and you had nothing to do with why that waiter is like that. You know what I'm saying?
But again, I don't think it's intentional.
Right.
However, I need to be intentional about the way that I handle it. You know what I mean? So I need to be intentional in making sure that, look, if I'm frustrated or I'm tired and I'm burnt out, I need to get away from you for a minute, get my thoughts in order, and then come back, as opposed to just not talking to you all day. Yeah. And, you know. Or
just communicating. You know what, Jay? I'm gonna say, like, today. I'm not in the mood. I'm going to be whatever, chilling out. Nothing against you. I just need to be in my feelings. I need to feel my feelings.
I need to feel my feelings.
Yes, and I'm all about people feeling their feelings. Just let me know so I can act accordingly.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good one. Good one. All right. My third and final hindsight is 2020. You ready for this one?
No. I'm never ready because I never know what you're going to say.
Only Black women. Only Black women, only dating Black women. Yes, I've had an experience with the Wahite. We'll talk about that on a subsequent episode. But one of the things that I definitely wanted to not do again was, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. I wasn't dating anybody who wasn't Black. And I'm serious about that. And it's because the cultural issues ended up playing a role into why the relationship ended. The cultural differences and the issues that came about from it. And so I don't want to go through that again. Now, also, I will say this, you know, Jason 2020 is not the same Jason I was in, you know, 2007 and 8 when the Wahite came into my life. So I also see things differently now than I did at that time. But when that relationship ended, it was clear to me that, my opinion, Black men need to be with Black women, especially in this day and age. You know, there's something about being with a Black woman, how the communication is better. You understand these experiences that I'm talking about with with the others. So for me, ending the relationship with the white young lady, I knew at that time that I was never dating anybody that wasn't black again, or at least, you know, slaves had to come through your lineage somehow in a major way. You know what I'm saying?
But I think,
you could have been from the
think
islands.
More than that, though, is the ability to be yourself and be vulnerable with somebody that looks like you, feels like you, and that can understand that struggle.
You said all of that better than what I just did.
Yeah.
You cleaned it up for me.
I didn't say
I mean, I don't care. I'm keeping it real.
Yeah. And I get that. And I get that because there are certain things that I don't know that you'll ever really be able to understand. You know, so I get it.
Yeah. So, you know, that was a major thing for me. I knew as soon as that relationship was over, well, had that experience, will not do it again. What is your third and final? Hindsight is 2020.
My third and final is really making sure that we put our devotion first. One of the things that we've talked about in this relationship is that we will not only be together physically, but we also want to be together spiritually. And I think that's really, really important. I was raised Catholic. Then we became Kojic, and you know, and you're what again?
I'm Baptist, missionary Baptist.
Yeah,
missionary Baptist.
It's important to me, and it doesn't mean that we have to go to church together or whatever, but that both of us are on a spiritual journey. And that we are keeping that at the forefront of our relationship because, you know, it's hard, you know, talking about communication, not having an attitude, all of these different things that come into play. And then I think that there just needs to be something and that one thing to ground you at all times.
So let me ask you this. So because this is hindsight is 2020, so you're saying there was a lacking in that in previous relationships.
Absolutely.
Maybe you were more on the journey than the other person was, or that person was?
We both wasn't on no journey.
Oh, you okay?
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you. We were both not on a journey. We were just out here wilding and just being in a relationship with no guidance, no nothing, just no grounding. So when you get pissed or you get feeling like whatever, okay, we're talking about 20s, 30s. Okay, I'm going out with the girls. I'm going to take shots. I'm going to do whatever. When if you had a little bit of grounding, if you had a place to go to say, okay, let me stop for a second. Let's have a conversation. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And let's talk about this because we both want to be in this. And so I think that the spirituality also changes your relationship as well. Yeah. It forces you to be more thoughtful, more intentional. And so, yeah, I think spirituality is important in this relationship and what we always talking about and doing things differently. Yeah. So, and I agree with that 100%. And it's interesting that you said spirituality because I don't know if you guys do this, but try whatever God you pray to, whatever spirit you believe in, like taking some time in the morning to align with that power makes me feel better throughout the day. And I notice when I don't do it, I am more edgy throughout the day. And we end up having conflict sometimes. And we end up having conflict or conflicts with other people. You know, I'm in real estate and man, like the people I come into contact with, you be wanting to slap them sometimes. Like, who do you think you're talking to? But I have my devotion today. So I'm not going to respond the way my flesh wants me to respond. It's just like working out, right? And after you work out, your endorphins are going, and that's why people should work out in the mornings because, you know, it sets your day. They're both similar to that. So I agree with that. And not only that, I'm also say, not only doing or connecting with our spiritual higher power individually, but also doing it together. And I feel like we still could do a better job at that. We absolutely could. I think a lot of it has to do with being on different time zones. I'm up a little bit earlier trying to get going and moving, and then you know, then it's like by the time I have to get into work, AKA the office, in the second bedroom, and take my 3-second commute, it's, you know, my time is already moving. I'm trying to move it along and you're not ready yet. So I think it's important that we need to set aside time, whatever time that is.
Right.
It doesn't have to necessarily be in the morning. I mean, it should be. I feel like
we do better.
I feel like we do better when we
Correct.
when we do it in the morning. But I think that, yeah, we just need to figure out the timing.
Yeah.
But he'll smell all my incense and my sage and my Palo Santo, and then he's like, okay, yeah, I need to get on board too.
I bought into all of that, and then I do our daily bread, and I'm reading the scriptures and stuff like that, and I'm praying and I'm fasting, praying and meditation, you know, trying to just set my intentions as well. So that's good. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Well, we appreciate y'all taking this ride with us on the journey today.
Episode 2 is in the can.
And we look forward to you all joining us on our next episode.
Yep. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe, share, so that we can get this word out and hopefully try to help other people who are going through something similar. Shoot us a comment, you know, let us know how you thought about the episode, you know, questions, and we'll respond to you. One of us will respond to you directly. So otherwise, if nothing else, have a good day.
All right.
Bye.